Hey guys, it's Terry here, and we finished running the numbers on the two homes in Fenwick Woods that we were looking at today. And I will have to start by saying I was kind of shocked at what I did find out. One of the reasons I usually don't like to spitball numbers on the spot until doing the research, and when we did the research, very surprised at what we came to see. Those houses pretty well comp out at the prices they're at now. Nonetheless, from Amy's conversation with the listing agent, at least on the corner house, where it sounds like they're very willing to work with us, I'm still going to suggest we go in under 400 just to see what we can get. But the good thing about this is that for whatever we get below asking price, there's some instant equity in that house because these homes do actually comp out pretty well north of 400. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to dig into every row number by number, but I do want to walk across the columns here so you understand the process I look at when pricing out homes. So to go ahead and dive in, on the top row we have information about the homes we're looking at, 3192 and 3284 Dunwick Drive. And also those homes are down here because they're currently listed, so they're in our active and pending listing here. So they're highlighted here. And you remember one of them said it was 3,077 square feet. The other one said it was 3,184 square feet. Well, I checked the tax records and they both come out in the tax records it's 3,164 square feet. So that number is probably accurate. The numbers in MLS are basically just kind of slight mess ups on the builder's part, not doing a better job of being consistent with their information in MLS. So nonetheless, for these two homes, I'm looking at them both as 3,164 square feet because obviously they're of the same footprint. Got 5 bedroom, 3.5 bath, 0.21 acres, between 0.21 and 0.22, basically the same thing. Built in 2016 or 2015, pretty close, as well as asking price of 4,099. Now the next two sections we have here on this list are the active and pending properties. These currently showing in MLS that are active. And pending, that means this one has a contract on it, so it's no longer available. Excuse me, but it hasn't closed yet, so we don't know the final sold price. And then down here we have the closed listings, the ones that have actually closed out, so we know what that final sold price is. Now, usually whenever I'm building these out, building up my data, I like to stay in the neighborhood as best I can, and then I start to look at the size range, and then look at other things like how big the yard is, or how big when the house was built, trying to make sure I'm only looking at homes that are competitive with the properties we're looking at. No need to have homes in here that are drastically different sizes, drastically different ages, or one has 4 acres of a yard. We want to look at competing properties within a vicinity. So because there wasn't much whenever it came to finding competitive properties in that neighborhood within Fenwick Woods, what I did, I'm going to jump around screens here, was I drew a map so that caught a couple neighboring neighborhoods. Where the star is where these Dunwick Drive properties are. So I drew a map. They would get competing properties that all have relatively easy access to Highway 700 and Main Road, Bohicket Road. So basically, people that were looking in this area would also have looked at these kind of homes. So that's where I basically came up with this list from, by searching that area for homes that were 2,700 to 3,400 square feet, homes that were at least 4 bedrooms, if not more, homes that were at least 2.5 bath, if not more, and then were built past 2010. And this is the list I came up with. And so to walk you through the data that we have here, we have starting with the status, if they are active or pending, or if they are closed properties. Then we have the addresses and the MLS numbers, that way you could look up any of these that you would want to. The original list price, if that price had been adjusted or reduced at any point along the way prior to selling, that's here. The final sold price down here, and of course that's only on the closed properties. This percentage column on the top is the difference between the original asking price and what it was reduced by, whereas down here is the difference between the original asking price and what it was sold for. The sold date, of course, that's only again on the closed properties. Days on market. For active and pending, that's the difference from the date it was listed until today, whereas closed properties, it's the difference from the date it was listed to the date that it was sold. The factual information of square footage, bedroom, bathroom, acreage, and year built. And then we calculate an asking price per square foot and a sold price per square foot. And this per square foot thing is what we hinge a lot of these calculations off of. So seller paid, that's if the seller's paying any closing cost. Not all agents are great about filling in this section whenever a house closes, but we have to work with what we're given. And of the 3 closed listings that we have, 2 of them don't say that the seller paid any closing cost, where one says the seller paid all closing costs. We don't know what that exact number is, probably a range of $5,000-$6,000, somewhere thereabouts. And then I did add this column of what neighborhoods each of these homes were in, since I wasn't able to keep the research all within one neighborhood. Now, once we have this data together, the next thing we do is average it down to see, is there any bit of this data that needs to be adjusted to make it more relevant to the home you're looking at? So let me explain that a little bit better. So days on market. We consider 30 to 60 days on market a healthy time frame for a real estate market that's buying and selling. So what that means is that if on average homes are selling in less than 30 days, that means that basically the sellers aren't asking enough. They could raise the price and ask for a little bit more. Or if homes are sitting on the market for an average over 60 days, sellers are asking too much on average and should consider reducing their prices some. So that matters more in the closed listings since they're actually sold, whereas in the active and pending, they're still on the market, so we don't know how long they're actually going to sit out there. So we worry a little bit less about that up here in the active pending section than we do down here in the closed section. In the closed section, 47 days on market. That's perfectly in that sweet spot of 30 to 60 days on market, so no adjustments necessary. Next, we also look at square footage. So homes have an economy of scale to them, where a smaller home sells for a higher price per square foot than a larger home. On this top section here, the homes average out about 200 square feet smaller than the home you're looking at. So that's an economy of scale adjustment there to make a downwards adjustment by about 1%. And down here in the closed section, it's a little bit closer. We're within 100 square feet or about 100 square foot difference. So I decided not to adjust there. Looking at bedrooms, the top, they average out to 5 bedrooms, so no adjustment. On the bottom, they are 4 bedrooms, so I did make an adjustment there. Bathrooms, the top was within a half bath of what we're looking at. I could have made a 1% adjustment. I decided to leave it off. Down here, it starts getting to be more than a half bath worth of an adjustment. So I did add 1% for that. Acreage, we're all pretty close to what the subject property is. Within year built, they're both within a year of the same as the property we're looking at. So all that rambling to average out these numbers to the end, compared to active and listed, active and pending properties on the market, the homes you're looking at comp out at 423. That very much did shock me. Now, there's going to be lots of other nuances to this. Some of these homes may have some amenities in their neighborhood. There's going to be other slight differences here that you can't really readily calculate on a spreadsheet. But nonetheless, they comp out a fair chunk higher than what I expected to see. But what really tells a tale, though, is when we look at these sold properties, that it comes out at 409. And so I'm going to assume these agents actually did their homework pretty well and found this number on their own, which is how they came up with 4099. So again, what all this is to say is that if we can get this home under 400, it's an excellent thing for you guys because it's instant equity in the market. It does also tell you how quickly things are appreciating in Johns Island, knowing that other homes within Fenwick Woods that had sold earlier last year had sold for, a good $10 to $15 a square foot less. So Johns Island as a whole is appreciating. Johns Island as a whole is appreciating faster than most other areas around Charleston. So it's, again, the numbers that surprise me, but their asking price is not out of line. But it does not stop us from saying, let's still see how low we can go. And I'm still saying we go below 400. And we'll talk, you guys and Aimee and us, we'll talk a little bit more about exactly what number we think we might want to throw at this if that's what we're going to do. So I hope all this made sense. Sorry you had to listen to my voice droning on for 10 minutes. But let us know if you got any questions. Thanks, guys.